Nobody expected Jennifer Hudson to say it. The cameras were rolling. The audience was watching. Everything seemed completely normal until Jennifer suddenly became emotional and appeared to struggle to hold back tears. Then came the words that sent fans into a frenzy. "I still love Jamal Roberts." For a few seconds, the atmosphere changed completely. Fans watching could not believe what they were hearing. Social media exploded with questions. Was Jennifer Hudson making a serious confession? Was she talking about love from the past? Was there something deeper behind her emotional moment? And then, another name entered the conversation.
Common.
Reports and online reactions began suggesting that Common might not be happy about all the attention surrounding Jennifer's emotional statement and Jamal Roberts. Fans immediately began debating the situation, with some defending Jennifer's right to express her feelings, while others questioned what exactly she meant. But was this really a shocking romantic confession? Or has social media taken one emotional moment and turned it into something much bigger? Because when you look closer at what happened, the story becomes even more complicated. Jennifer Hudson has spent decades in the public eye. She has experienced incredible success, devastating personal tragedy, public relationships, and constant speculation about her private life. But one thing Jennifer has always tried to protect is her personal world. That is why this alleged emotional moment caught so many people off guard. And Jamal Roberts? His name suddenly being connected to Jennifer created an entirely new wave of speculation. So why were fans so shocked? What did Jennifer allegedly mean when she said she still loved Jamal? And why did Common suddenly become part of the conversation? Stay with us, because this story has more layers than people realize. Jennifer Hudson is not someone whose emotional moments usually go unnoticed. From her earliest days in the entertainment industry, audiences connected with Jennifer because of her powerful voice and her ability to put real emotion into everything she performs. When Jennifer sings about heartbreak, people believe it. When she talks about pain, audiences listen. And when Jennifer becomes visibly emotional, fans immediately start wondering what is happening behind the scenes. That is exactly why the alleged live television moment became such a major topic. According to the version of events spreading among fans online, Jennifer was speaking publicly when the conversation turned emotional. At first, everything appeared under control. But then her emotions seemed to become increasingly difficult to hide. Viewers claimed they could see the change in her expression. The smile disappeared. Her voice allegedly became softer. And suddenly, the conversation felt personal. Then came the statement that had people replaying clips and sharing screenshots. "I still love Jamal Roberts." Immediately, fans had questions. What kind of love was Jennifer talking about? Was she talking about romantic love? Was she talking about someone she deeply respected? Was it an emotional statement about friendship, connection, or admiration? Or was this truly a revelation that nobody saw coming? That uncertainty is exactly what made the story spread so quickly. Because in today's celebrity culture, one sentence can create an entire internet investigation. And Jennifer Hudson saying she still loved someone named Jamal Roberts was more than enough to get people talking. Within hours, fans were reportedly sharing theories across social media. One person wrote that Jennifer's emotions looked too real to be a casual statement. Another said people were jumping to conclusions without knowing the full context. And others immediately brought Common into the conversation. That was where things became even more interesting. Because Jennifer Hudson and Common have been the subject of relationship discussions for years. Their public connection has attracted attention, and fans have repeatedly analyzed interviews, appearances, and comments for clues about where things stand between them. So naturally, when Jennifer was allegedly connected to an emotional statement about Jamal Roberts, people began asking one obvious question. How would Common feel about this? And according to online speculation, some fans believed he might be frustrated. But before jumping to conclusions, there is an important distinction. Public reaction and internet rumors are not the same thing as confirmed facts. A celebrity can say one sentence, and millions of people can create their own interpretation of it. And Jennifer Hudson's situation is a perfect example. Still, that did not stop the reactions. Some fans were shocked. Some were confused. Some thought the entire situation had been misunderstood. And some believed there was more happening than the public knew. One thing, however, was undeniable. People were talking. But who exactly is Jamal Roberts in this story? And why would Jennifer Hudson's alleged emotional statement create such an intense reaction? To understand that, you have to look at the power of public connection. Jennifer Hudson has always been someone who forms strong emotional bonds with people around her. Whether she is mentoring artists, interviewing guests, working with fellow performers, or supporting new talent, Jennifer often speaks from the heart. She has never built her image around being cold or detached. In fact, emotion is one of the reasons people connect with her. So when she says she loves someone, that statement can have different meanings. But social media rarely waits for context. The internet wants a headline. And this headline was irresistible. Jennifer Hudson breaks down and admits she still loves Jamal Roberts. You can already see why people clicked. And Jennifer's apparent emotional reaction only made people more curious. Because there is a major difference between simply saying, "I love someone," and appearing to become emotional while saying it. Emotion changes how people interpret words. A person can say, "I love you," casually. But if their voice breaks, their eyes fill with tears, and they struggle to continue, people immediately assume there is a deeper story. That is why fans were reportedly watching Jennifer's every movement. They wanted clues. They wanted context. They wanted to know if there was a hidden message behind the moment. And, perhaps most importantly, they wanted to know what Jamal Roberts thought. Was he aware of what Jennifer allegedly said? Did he respond privately? Did he react publicly? Or was he just as surprised as everyone else? At that point, the mystery became bigger than the original moment. It was no longer just about what Jennifer said. It became about what her words might mean. And that is where celebrity stories become dangerous. Because sometimes the public fills in the blanks with assumptions. One fan sees tears and assumes heartbreak. Another sees the same tears and assumes love. Someone else assumes regret. And suddenly, a short television moment becomes a massive story involving secret relationships, hidden feelings, jealousy, and tension. But what if Jennifer simply meant what she said in a completely different way? What if the word love was never intended as a romantic confession? That possibility did not stop the speculation. Instead, it made the story even more divisive, because now fans had two competing narratives. Narrative number one: Jennifer made an emotional romantic confession about Jamal Roberts. Narrative number two: the public misunderstood an emotional but non-romantic statement. And until more context is available, that difference matters. But while people debated Jennifer and Jamal, Common remained at the center of another conversation. Would he be frustrated? Would he address the rumors? Or would he simply ignore them? The silence, if there was any, only gave social media more room to speculate. And as we all know, the internet does not like silence. Silence becomes a clue. No response becomes a response. And suddenly, people start analyzing everything. A missing photo, an old interview, a facial expression, an Instagram caption. Nothing is safe from the celebrity detectives of social media. Fans began going back through previous Jennifer Hudson and Common appearances, trying to understand their dynamic. Were they still as close as before? Did something change? Could Jennifer's alleged statement about Jamal mean something bigger? Or was everyone creating drama where there was none? The truth is, only the people directly involved would know the full story. But that did not make the public discussion any smaller. In fact, it was growing. And then came the question that changed everything. If Jennifer really does still love Jamal Roberts, what happened between them in the first place? That is the question fans wanted answered. Because nobody becomes this emotional without a reason. Or, at least, that is what the internet believed. But sometimes, The real story behind emotional words is far more complicated than romance. Sometimes love is about gratitude. Sometimes it is about friendship. Sometimes it is about support during a difficult time. And sometimes love survives even when relationships change. Could that be what Jennifer meant? Or was there truly an emotional history that the public had never known about? And if Common was frustrated by the situation, was it because of Jennifer's words? Or because the entire internet had turned one moment into an international discussion? That is where part 2 gets even more intense. Because we're going to break down the fan reactions, the growing speculation surrounding Common, why Jennifer's emotional moment struck such a nerve with viewers, and the biggest question of all. Was this really a confession of romantic love, or did the internet completely misunderstand Jennifer Hudson? Just when fans thought the story could not get any more dramatic, the reactions became even more divided. Some viewers said Jennifer Hudson's emotions told them everything they needed to know. Others said people were seeing romance simply because they wanted a romance story. And as speculation involving Common continued to grow, one question kept appearing everywhere. Was he actually frustrated, or was the internet writing a story for him too? Because by this point, the situation was no longer just about Jennifer. It had become a public debate about love, relationships, loyalty, privacy, and how quickly celebrity moments can spiral out of control. And the more people talked, the more complicated the story became. The fan reaction was intense because Jennifer Hudson has a very loyal audience. Her supporters have followed her journey for years, and many people feel emotionally connected to her. So when Jennifer appears vulnerable, fans become protective. Some viewers immediately expressed concern. They asked whether she was okay. They wondered if the emotional moment had been difficult for her. Others focused entirely on Jamal Roberts. Who is Jamal to Jennifer? Why does she still love him? What happened? And then, of course, came the common questions. That is when the situation became almost impossible to discuss without people choosing sides. One group believed that if Jennifer wanted to express love for someone, she had every right to do so. Another group said that the context mattered, especially if the statement was made publicly and Common was part of her life. And a third group was simply tired of people inventing drama. Their argument was simple. Until Jennifer explains exactly what she meant, nobody knows the full story. That might be the most reasonable interpretation. But reasonable interpretations rarely go viral. Drama does. And social media had already found its dramatic version. Jennifer Hudson was emotional. Jamal Roberts was the person she allegedly said she still loved. Common was supposedly frustrated. That is a perfect formula for a viral celebrity headline. But headlines do not always tell the entire story. And sometimes they do not tell the correct story at all. That is why context is everything. Jennifer Hudson has used the word love many times when speaking about people she cares about. Public figures often express deep affection for friends, collaborators, mentors, family members, and artists they admire. The word itself does not automatically prove romance. But combine that word with visible emotion, and suddenly everyone begins reading between the lines. The problem is that the lines might not contain what people think they do. And that brings us to Common. Why Common's name changed the story. Common is not just another celebrity being randomly connected to Jennifer. Their public relationship history made his name impossible to ignore in this conversation. Once fans started discussing Jennifer's alleged emotional statement about Jamal, Common naturally became part of the online debate. But there is an important question here. Did Common actually say he was frustrated? Without a direct statement from him, that claim remains speculation. Fans may believe he looked unhappy. People may interpret silence as frustration. But unless Common himself confirms his feelings, nobody can honestly know exactly what is happening inside his mind. Still, that did not stop people from discussing it. Some imagined that Common would be uncomfortable with Jennifer publicly expressing love for another man. Others argued that mature relationships are more complicated than internet headlines. And some fans pointed out that people can love more than one person in different ways. Love does not always mean romance. Jennifer can love someone as a friend. She can love someone because they changed her life. She can love someone because they supported her. She can love someone while being committed to another person. That is something the internet often forgets. But there was another possibility. Maybe Jennifer's emotional moment had absolutely nothing to do with a current romantic situation. Maybe fans connected that were never meant to be connected. And if that is true, then Common being described as frustrated could be another example of social media speculation turning assumptions into apparent facts. This is why celebrity stories require caution. The most viral version is not always the most accurate version. And Jennifer Hudson knows better than most celebrities what it means to have the public watching every detail of your life. She has spent years balancing fame with privacy. So, could one emotional sentence really reveal everything? Probably not. But it certainly gave fans enough to discuss. The bigger question about Jamal? Now, let's focus on Jamal Roberts. The name itself became the center of the mystery. If Jennifer really did say those words in the way people are describing, why did they hit her so emotionally? Was Jamal someone from her past? A close friend? Someone connected to an important period in her life? Or was there another context that viewers missed? This is exactly why short clips can be misleading. Imagine watching only 10 seconds of a 30-minute conversation. You hear Jennifer say, "I still love Jamal Roberts." You see her becoming emotional. And immediately you think you know the story. But what happened during the previous 29 minutes? What was the question? What were they discussing? Who brought up Jamal's name? Those details can completely change the meaning. And yet, social media often rewards the shortest and most dramatic interpretation. That is why the phrase allegedly became so powerful. It left room for imagination. And the internet has a lot of imagination. Some fans imagined a secret romance. Others imagined unfinished feelings. Some imagined a complicated situation involving Common. And others believed Jennifer was simply expressing sincere affection. But Jennifer's emotions were real enough to viewers that people continued searching for answers. And that leads to perhaps the most important point in this entire story. Emotional honesty is not the same thing as a public confession. A person can cry while talking about someone they love without announcing that they want a relationship with them. A person can still love somebody while having moved on romantically. A person can feel emotional because of memories. And celebrities are human beings too. Sometimes the public expects them to explain every tear, every pause, every sentence. But perhaps some things simply belong to them. Still, fans wanted answers. And Common's name kept returning to the conversation. Common and the internet pressure. Imagine millions of strangers debating your relationship. Every appearance becomes evidence. Every interview becomes a clue. Every silence becomes suspicious. That is the reality of celebrity relationships. If Common truly was frustrated, nobody should automatically assume the reason. Maybe he was frustrated with the rumors. Maybe he was frustrated with people misinterpreting Jennifer. Maybe he was not frustrated at all. Those possibilities are equally important. But viral entertainment culture often chooses the most dramatic answer. And that answer was simple. Jennifer says she still loves Jamal. Common gets frustrated. Fans go crazy. It sounds like a movie, but real life is rarely that simple. And that is why this story became so fascinating. It sits directly between emotion and speculation. We have a reportedly emotional Jennifer Hudson. We have words that fans interpreted in different ways. So now we want to hear from you. Do you think Jennifer Hudson's alleged statement, "I still love Jamal Roberts," was a romantic confession? Or do you think fans completely misunderstood the emotional context? And what about Common? Do you believe he was genuinely frustrated, or has social media once again created drama without enough evidence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is one story where context could change everything. And if Jennifer, Jamal Roberts, or Common speaks publicly about what really happened, the entire conversation could take a completely different turn. Until then, one thing is certain. Jennifer's emotional moment has left fans shocked, confused, and desperate for answers. Was it love? Was it friendship? Was it history? Or was it simply a deeply emotional moment that the internet turned into something much bigger? Only time and possibly Jennifer Hudson herself will tell. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because if there is another major development in the Jennifer Hudson, Jamal Roberts, and Common story, you will definitely want to know what happens next.